the great sages and gurus, when they write something, even if it's wrong, it's right. Even if it's wrong by some calculation of literary rules and or some tradition or some standard that may exist either now or at a different time. Whatever they write, just leave it alone. It's not yours to change. If you think that things should be different, you write a commentary and put your name on it. Huh? I wrote my own commentary on Vedānta-sūtra, and I put my name on it. Yes, it was based on Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary, but I added some information to make it easier for the contemporary reader to understand the context of a lot of the things that Baladev said. So I didn't say, this is Baladev's commentary. No, I said, this is my commentary, because I added some information. I changed a few things that I thought were confusing. I didn't change the meaning, but I added more information to help the reader understand the meaning. You see? But I didn't try to pass it off as Baladev's work. I didn't put words in Baladev's mouth that he didn't write. See? I took my work and I added it to Baladev, and actually in many cases I didn't change even one word of Baladev's commentary where it was clear and easy to understand in the context of today's world. But where he was referencing obscure, well, what are to us today are obscure contexts, like the Upanishads and like that, I thought it was wise to introduce additional content, like extended quotes from the Upanishads and so on like that. So I did. But I put my name on it. I took responsibility. If there's any defects in that commentary, they're only mine. They're not Baladev's. So I should take the responsibility for that. I shouldn't try to pass it off on him. So now if these editors changing Prabhupada's books make any mistakes, or if they change the meaning in a way that's not pleasing to Krishna, but they're not taking responsibility for it. They're trying to say this is Prabhupada's book. But it's not Prabhupada's book. Because Prabhupada is no longer here to approve their editorial changes. See, even in the book, the ordinary world of academic literature, or so-called serious literature, if somebody like James Joyce or Hemingway or somebody like that writes a book, now while the author is still alive, the publisher can go back and say, well, maybe it would make more sense if we present it this way, or we change this or that, or rewrite it here and there, or leave this out, or put that in, or whatever. And if the author says, yeah, okay, and agrees to it, then they can do that. But once the author has left this planet, left this world, the rule is, even with an ordinary writer, novelist or something like that, you don't change their books. You just don't do that. Or if you do, you document every single change and put footnotes and explain why you did it. And, there's a whole protocol. It's existed there in the academic world for centuries. How you deal with so-called posthumous changes to a work of literature. But they're making thousands of changes and they're not documenting any of them. They're documented on some website somewhere, not in the book itself. So this is unprecedented. No one has ever done this before. Well, yeah, they have done it before, and it's called boulderizing. After this guy in England named Boulder, who decided that some of the racier parts of the the standard English works that are used to teach literature weren't suitable for our pure, delicate students, you see. So he took out those parts that he didn't like. Yeah. Well, you heard of Moby, right? The great book, Moby?
About the whale?
Yeah, about the whale. That's the one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Moby. He didn't like the other word in the title, so he just took it out.
It's not olderizing, it's Bibleizing.
Well, yeah. Same thing was done to the Bible. Anything the powers that be don't like, they arrange to somehow have it disappear from the world's literature and knowledge. So we don't believe in that. We don't accept that. We think that people should have access to the complete knowledge, and then let them make up their minds what they accept and what they reject. Huh? I mean, after all, it's their mind. Huh? So why don't we give them the authority to determine what they're going to accept in their own mind? See? We recognize that every living entity is an independent, separate, individual consciousness, and is the master of the field of activities, which is the body and the mind that they inhabit. Okay? We recognize the sovereignty of the individual soul, the living entity, over his own consciousness. And we support the right of every living being to make up his own mind. In other words, we don't believe in coercing people to think a certain way, to act a certain way, to believe or practice a certain path or a certain viewpoint on life or anything like that. Huh? I guess we're really old-fashioned. But we feel this is this point of view, this style, this approach has much more integrity than trying to decide for others what they should have in their minds, what they should think, what they should be able to read. I'll never forget one time I was approached by these Scientologists. And of course, they were trying to get me, you know how they always do. They try to get you to come down for a personality test and all this stuff. And I said, yeah, well, I've read some of L. Ron Hubbard's stuff, and I think it's very interesting. And oh, yeah, you should come down. Yeah, come on down, you know, we have all these courses and da-da-da-da-da. And then I went on. I said, and I'm really glad that he has done all this research and written all these books and stuff. And they said, oh, good. Yeah, you should come down and take our communication course and da-da-da-da-da and like that. And then I said, and, you know, what really makes me happy is that he did all this work because if he hadn't, I would have had to do it myself. And the Scientologist, he turned white. Huh? He was a Latino guy. This was in Miami. And the guy turned white, and he goes, "You can't think that." You see, I had read the same books that Hubbard read, especially Korzybski's Science and Sanity. I read it when I was 20 years old. It's a big, thick book. It's about like that. It's one of those books where you read one sentence and then you go, what? Did he just say what I think he just said? Oh my God. I'm going to read that again. And then you go, I mean, it's like every page is like that. And it's got these big, thick, meaty paragraphs, you know, like half a page long, one paragraph. and all these diagrams that look like they're from outer space or something. It's a really cool book. So I had read this book, and Hubbard had used this theory, or parts of it, to put together some of his ideas and processes and stuff like that. And other people took the same information and they used it to develop neurolinguistic programming and disciplines like that. So I thought this was really cool stuff. This is great. So if I hadn't come across that information, if I hadn't known the power of meaning and the power of words, the power of words is that it can actually shape consciousness. Is actually the power of ontology. So Korzybski was really the first work of ontology that I read, way back when I was 20 years old.